it's starting.
So earlier today, the United States accused China of conducting a secret nuclear test in 2020, which is pretty serious. Arms control experts today were worried that this could trigger it.
Like everything fun.
People never sell their cryptocurrency because they're told this lie that you shouldn't sell crypto unless you have like a...
London, a crime-ridden city overrun by immigrants, where you might get stabbed just...
Who's been wondering when we're going to find...
When you sensationalize the Epstein...
I'm moving abroad from the United States to Portugal, and this probably the number one question I get asked. What am I going to do for work when I'm there? And the answer is I am a full-time musician. Here in the States, I play in bars, I sing, and I play my guitar, just solo gigs. But I actually also make my own music full-time. I make what's known as lo-fi beats. If you're familiar, it's very much background.
Tonight, the Justice Department.
One of the reasons I chose to buy land here in this country is because there's not a lot of Americans.
The new declaration gives greater extent to the police powers to give directions to people to move out of an area, restricting people from coming to an area, restricting vehicles and people and the ability to search people. We can just...
It doesn't get a ton of minutes.
លោកប្រធានាធិបតី Donald Trump គាត់បាននិយាយថាអញនឹងថាឯងមានសង្សារផងអញនឹងថាឯងមានសង្សារផង
You can volunteer, but please give. We're getting wiped out financially. I don't know where...
បានជាក្មេងស្រីៗបច្ចុប្បន្នស្អាតឆ្លាតញាតិ
Well, looky. We have a picture from the Epstein files. And who's that? You're right, that's Zuckerberg. But look who that... Well, look. You're right, that's Zuckerberg. But look who that is. That's Musk. And if you're wondering who else was at this, don't you fret, my pet, because we have a confirmation list. So...
Of course, the president isn't just looking out for himself. He's helping his friends and allies. Like, have you ever heard of a drug lord named Juan Orlando Hernandez? It's a wild story. Because he used to be the president of Honduras. But a couple years ago, a federal judge here in the United States sentenced him to 45 years for conspiring to traffic hundreds of tons of cocaine into the United States. He had taken millions from the Sinaloa cartel and used the Honduran army and police to help them.
We have bombshell news right now. The Guardian has confirmed that last spring, the NSA detected a phone call between someone associated with foreign intelligence and an individual close to Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America. In a new bombshell report from the Guardian, a whistleblower's attorney has been briefed on the existence of this call. It was brought to the attention of Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. Instead of allowing NSA officials to distribute the information further, she took a paper copy of the intelligence directly to Susie Wiles, the president's chief of staff. We have some pretty significant news right now. Donald Trump's former chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, has come out tonight and said that Donald Trump's post about the Obamas, the racist post on Truth Social, will likely cost Republicans the midterms. It's that bad. There's that much concern within Republican circles this evening. Mick Mulvaney told this to Kelly Meyer this evening. And while he says that if he were chief of staff, he would offer his resignation immediately. And he would also find the staffer, quote unquote, who did this.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post.
president is now insisting he did not make a mistake after that blatantly racist video was posted on his own social media account, and the president is now claiming that he did not see the part of the video that depicted former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. The president's comments coming after an avalanche of backlash over the video that was posted late Thursday night. But at first, the White House press secretary defended the president's post, saying, "Please stop the fake outrage." But the criticism only grew from there, including from Republican leaders who rarely disagree with President Trump on anything. For instance, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, the Senate's only black Republican, called Trump's post the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio called the post offensive, heartbreaking, and unacceptable. Then about 12 hours after the video was posted, it was taken down. After that, a White House official told ABC News that a White House staffer erroneously made the post, but Gio, the press secretary, has not walked back her defense of the racist image, and the president is not apologizing.
All right, Selena, thank you so much for your reporting there.
So Donald Trump is like credit cards.
They charge Americans interest rates of 28%, 30%, 31%, 32%.
His solution is to cap
credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year.
Which, yeah, let's stick it to the big banks. Except the big banks are like,
It would be a economic disaster.
and even Trump's Republican allies in the House are like,
I wouldn't get too spun up about, ideas that are out of the box. The thing about this president is he's totally transparent, and he says often what he's thinking out loud.
So here's the truth. Trump's interest rate cut would save some people a lot of money. The average U.S. household runs a credit card balance of just over $6,000 a month. A few years ago, when the average interest rate was closer to 15%, that's about $900 a year in interest. Monthly, around $76. A couple years later, when interest rates climbed to around 21%, that made the cost of credit card interest jump to almost $1,300 a year, or about $106 a month. And remember, that's just what you have to pay to keep your balance steady. Like, at that price point, you're not actually paying any of your debt down. But now imagine if we cut that interest rate down to 10%, as per Trump's plan. That's a big discount to a total of around $600 a year, or about $50 a month. For a household that's struggling, that's a big difference. And according to the Federal Reserve, some of the poorest Americans with credit card debt are running monthly balances which are more than 80% of their monthly income. Like, stop and just think about that for a second. Imagine you're pulling in $1,000 a month and you're paying 30% interest on $800 worth of credit card debt. My God. But that's also kind of the reason banks say a 10% cap on interest is a terrible idea.
The immediate thing you think of is, wow, wouldn't it be great if I paid less interest on my loans? A different view is they don't have to give you that loan.
Yeah, banks are effectively threatening to revoke the credit cards of anyone a 10% interest rate doesn't cover the risk for anymore. Because let's say the banks see this client as an expensive proposition. He's got a poor credit history, he's missed a lot of payments, monthly income, not that great. And they figure his $6,000 revolving credit card balance, in any given year, there's a 25% chance he just can't pay. Total default. And the bank figures in that case, it loses the whole $6,000. So just to break even on those odds, it has to charge people like this guy 25% a year. Introduce a 10% cap, the banks say. Congratulations, you've just ruined our profitability on a huge swath of America. So we'll cut them out.
Let's actually pause and think about what that means, because this will be predominantly working class, often poor Americans who are seen as somewhat risky. Your car breaks down. You've got a sudden $400 expense. Today, you could pay for that repairs using your credit card. You'd have to pay a very high interest rate. For some of these people, it might be 18, 20%. But your car gets repaired, you go to work. Let's now say we put a 10% cap on credit card interest. The bank looks at you and thinks, you know what? I'm sufficiently worried about this person repaying the loan. They're financially precarious. I'm not going to lend at that rate. It's not profitable. My car's now broken down. I no longer have a credit card to pay for a repair. I can't afford a repair. Now I can't get to work. I just lost my job. So the absence of access to credit is the thing that can turn a mild inconvenience into something of a cycle of poverty. So we got the good news, I pay less, versus the bad news, fewer people get access to credit.
I have seen one study out of Vanderbilt University suggesting Trump's idea is a great idea, that a 10% cap could save Americans up to $100 billion while maintaining.
We have some big news right now. U.S. military members now say that they were pressured to see the Melania documentary that was released by the First Lady, saying that they were, quote, scared if they did not see the documentary after being pressured by those on their military bases. This according to new reporting from Business Insider. This is a significant development. According to Business Insider, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation says members of the U.S. military felt pressure to see Melania. The Religious Freedom Foundation received reports of military members feeling pressured to watch this documentary from at least 8 military bases around the world. And in one email seen by Business Insider, an active duty service member said their unit commander advised them to see the movie. The president and founder of the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, who's making this allegation, says that, quote, people are scared. Quote, they were pressured to see the movie. Your military superior, that's not your shift manager at Taco Bell or Starbucks. They have complete and total control over you. If U.S. military service members are pressuring those under them to see the First Lady's documentary, that would be an extreme breach of their responsibilities. And people need to know about it, so spread the word. Follow for more.
First off, you guys, make sure you like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and make sure you drop me a follow, because Donald Trump is facing a lot of backlash today for this video that he ended up reposting on his official Truth Social. Let me know your thoughts over in the comments, because yes, there is a lot of troll baiting going on when it comes down to what people and politicians currently post all over social media. But at the same time and everything, you guys, you have to understand, this is the current United States sitting president. This is the highest level of authority that you can actually get here in the United States of America. So for someone of that status to be able to post things online with zero consequences is absolutely outrageous, plain and simple, you guys. Because if we're supposed to look to them as our leader, what does that say to the rest of the world? That, you know, this is our leader, this is what they're allowed to do. They can be blatant and open and blunt about just being racist, plain and simple, you guys. But that right there was the full video of what Donald Trump ended up playing on his Truth Social or reposting. So once more, you guys, let me know your thoughts over in the comment.
And Trump is now trying to make an excuse for posting this racist meme. The White House is now telling CNN's Elena Trine that a staffer at the White House made the post. The post was made at 11:30 last night. Do you really believe a White House staffer made it?
Yes, I do. That is by far the most likely outcome. He just doesn't want people to believe it because that's not conducive to the narrative that he wants to push. I'm going to break down how he's trying to do that and what really likely happened. So for starters, he's giving you limited context. He's giving you enough information to believe the narrative that he wants you to believe, but he's not giving you enough context to have a full picture of what's going on. The reason he doesn't do that is because it easily disproves the narrative he's trying to push. So he's cutting out context to manipulate people. For example, if you look at the little GIF, replaying video, whatever he has, you see there's no like timer at the bottom that tells you like what part of the video it's at. That's not an accident. Here's the actual video, and you can see it's 59 seconds into a minute 2 or whatever. Now, he doesn't want to show you this because if you have a time bar at the bottom, you see, okay, it's at the end of the video. What does that matter? Well, let's actually show you the video.
President Trump was significantly ahead when reporting and counting resumed. There was a massive spike occurred that favored Joe Biden.
So what likely happened is the staffer was screen recording, the video auto-played to the next video, he swiped back, but he didn't crop that part out. So then when he posted it, we saw that last little bit that was not meant to be in there. So they'll leave all that information out because they want to manipulate you into believing something that wasn't happening because it's conducive to the narrative they want to push. Now, to further prove my point, I'm going to show you the video that it was going to auto-play to when you see Barack and Michelle pop up.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans are now officially blocking
former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton from testifying publicly about Jeffrey Epstein, about the Epstein files, and answering any questions that the public may have for Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Now, this follows Donald Trump and MAGA Republican Congressmember James Comer and all the other MAGA Republicans saying the Epstein files has nothing to do with Donald Trump. This is all about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. It's as though like we're all stupid, right? Like Donald Trump appears on the Epstein files over 38,000 times in 5,000 documents, and that's just in the partial release of Epstein files of 3 million documents, and there's at least 3 million other documents, which could be as many as 25 to 50 million pages that are missing. But look, the bottom line is that Bill Clinton says, want to ask me any questions about it? I'm happy to speak about it. Hillary Clinton says, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to know. You want to ask me questions about it? Let's do it, but let's do it in public, in front of the entire world, and let's do it. Let's do a hearing on Epstein. You want to do it? We're ready to go. So you now have James Comer saying, actually, we're going to maybe do it in secret. We're not going to do it in public. Why would we do a public hearing? They think they're special. They think they get... No, it's not a matter of thinking they're special. What's in those files, James Comer, is absolutely vile and disgusting. The allegations, especially against Donald Trump and the cabal that's in the White House right now that you're a sycophant of, is disgusting. And I think it's laudable. We should praise people who want to go and testify under oath in public. Well, Donald Trump wants to avoid that. So here was James Comer last night going on state regime media, which calls itself Fox, saying, actually, we don't want to do Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's deposition in public. We're going to do that in secret. And then maybe we'll release it when we say we want to release it. The hell is this? Watch MAGA Republicans just utterly terrified here. Let's play this clip.
All right, she wants to tell you how to do your job. You're saying no.
No, look, she has moved the goalposts millions of times throughout this entire process. Then fires out an email attacking me today, accusing me of moving the goalpost, and she's the one who's tried to move the goalpost again. She agreed to a standard deposition. The deposition will be made public. So what she's asking for is already going to happen. The deposition will be video. You'll have the audio and a transcript. Everyone in America will have access to it. Every deposition I've ever done in the 3 years I've been chairman of the House Oversight Committee, we have released the transcript and the video and the audio. So what she's asking for is already going to happen. But what she really wants, Sean, is a committee hearing. And everyone that's ever watched a committee hearing in Congress, including the one in the House this week with the Treasury Secretary, knows that committee hearings are more for entertainment than substance. The deposition is for substance. This is a serious investigation. The purpose of the investigation is to get justice for the victims and to figure out why the government failed the victims and who the bad guys were and if they can be held accountable. So this is about the victims. This isn't about the Clintons. The Clintons are trying to play the victim cards. The victims of Epstein are the victims, not the Clintons.
And then you have MAGA Mike Johnson like running and scurrying around through the halls of Congress when he's asked by Manu Raju and other Capitol Hill reporters. So why isn't Donald Trump going to sit down then? Don't you see how the MAGA Republican plan, though, just utterly backfired? They were going to try to make this about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. And Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are like, okay, let's testify. Let's do it. Let's do it in public. Watch MAGA Mike for yourself. Play this clip.
Trump have to answer some questions too. He's been named more than 1,000 times in these documents.
The president submits to press inquiries every day.
Not under oath. Not under oath.
Not under oath, but he's asked the questions all the time and he answers them. We'll see where it goes.
Then we saw Donald Trump just utterly terrified. Donald Trump was saying, actually it bothers me now. I'm upset that they want to go after Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. That actually breaks my heart, right? That's what Donald Trump said 2 days ago to NBC, and then yesterday.
So this just happened. A big list of employers are now set to match contributions into the Trump Child Savings Account. Now I'm going to show you a list of all of the employers set to match up to $1,000 of employee contributions into the Trump Child Savings Account. But before I do, how do you take advantage of this Trump Child Savings Account if your child qualifies? Well, first let's talk about the children who do qualify, and then I'll tell you how to claim this money, and then we'll talk about the employer. So if your child was born between January 1st of 2025 and December 31st of 2028, so even if they're born in the future, they will qualify for the pilot program, which puts $1,000 into this Trump Child Savings Account to help your child get started. But if your child is under the age of 18, they still could qualify for Michael Dell's money, who's going to put $250 into the child account to help your child get started. And I'd like to give you a frame of reference for just how large these Trump accounts can grow to, because I have a lot of people say $1,000 isn't a lot of money. Yes, it is. Shut up. So if you maximize your contributions, which is $5,000 per year into the account, it will grow by the age of 18 to $303,800. Now, let's just say you don't put anything in. You just put the initial $1,000 that the government puts in there, and then you contribute nothing. It would grow to $5,800 by the time the child is 18, and if they're 28, it'll grow to $18,100. That's for literally doing nothing but filling out a form. Now, how do you get your hands on one of these accounts? All you gotta do is fill out one of these bad boys at tax time. Oh, what do you know? It's tax time. This is a form 4547. All you gotta do is fill out all this information here. And then again, if your child was born between January 1st of 2025 and December 31st of 2028, so again, we're foreshadowing into the future, you'll check one of these boxes here, and it tells the government that they need to fund the account with $1,000. But if your child is under the age of 18, you still fill one of these out, you just don't check that box. That's it. Okay, so now I've showed you how to claim the Trump account. Now, which employers are matching the $1,000 contributions for their employees? So here's a list of all the employers that are set to match $1,000. A lot of banks in here, and then you have Broadcom, Charter Communications, Comcast, IBM, Dell, NVIDIA, companies like that. If you work for any of these companies, you should definitely take advantage of this. Again, it's free money to help your child build wealth. And the last thing is, I've been making a lot of content on these Trump accounts, and I hear a lot of people say, I just don't trust it. What are they going to do with my child's information? Who do you think gives your child the social security number in the first place? So all you're really doing is claiming money from the government so that you can help your child become wealthy in the future. That's like what all of us want, right? Like, I don't even have kids, and that's what I want kids to have. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. But yeah, if you work for any of those employers, congratulations, and now you know how to claim a Trump account.
Well, Trump woke up this morning, I know. Or maybe it was just a staffer. But we don't know anymore, because he's muddied those waters and posted on Truth Social. And it's a total blatant attack on the free press. Go figure. We need more